Welcome to Synapse Daily. Today, we are exploring a time in human history when our ambition was as vast as the cosmos and as dangerous as the sun itself. We are traveling back to the late 1950s and early 1960s. This was the era of the atomic age. It was a period where society believed that nuclear energy wasn't just a weapon of war, but a tool that would provide electricity too cheap to meter and create a utopia for all mankind. But there was a darker, more bizarre side to this optimism. A project so audacious it sounds like a plot from a comic book. Welcome to the story of Operation Plowshare. Chapter 1: The Philosophy of the Plowshare. The name itself is deeply symbolic. It comes from the book of Isaiah in the Bible: "They shall beat their swords into plowshares." The idea was noble on the surface. We had spent billions developing the most horrific weapons in existence. Now, the United States government wanted to show the world that this power could be used for the benefit of civilization. In 1957, the Atomic Energy Commission, AEC, established Operation Plowshare. The premise was simple but terrifying: why use 1,000 bulldozers when you can use one hydrogen bomb? Why spend decades digging a canal when you can do it in an afternoon? Chapter 2: The Men Behind the Curtain. The primary driver of this project was the Lawrence Livermore National Laboratory. Scientists like Edward Teller, often called the father of the hydrogen bomb, were the leading voices. Teller was a man of immense intellect but also immense ego. He viewed the Earth as a canvas and nuclear bombs as his brushes. To these scientists, the Earth was something to be corrected. They looked at mountains and saw obstacles to trade. They looked at deserts and saw places where harbors should exist. They truly believed they could control the fallout. They talked about clean nuclear explosives, devices that would produce minimal radiation. But as we would soon find out, minimal is a very relative term when you're dealing with the building blocks of matter. Chapter 3: Project Sedan, the Giant in the Desert. If you want to understand the scale of Operation Plowshare, you have to look at Project Sedan. Conducted on July 6, 1962, at the Nevada test site, this was the poster child of nuclear civil engineering. Imagine a 104-kiloton thermonuclear device. It was buried 635 feet underground. When it was detonated, it didn't just explode, it moved the world. In less than a second, a massive dome of Earth rose 290 feet into the air. 12 million tons of Earth were displaced. The result was a crater 1,280 feet wide and 320 feet deep. You can see it from space today. It is a haunting, gray void in the Nevada sand. But there was a catch. The clean bomb released a massive amount of radioactivity. 2 separate radioactive plumes rose into the sky. One headed toward Illinois, the other toward the northeast. How could the AEC call this civil engineering when it was poisoning the very land it was trying to improve? This brings us to a critical question: was the government blinded by scientific curiosity, or were they intentionally ignoring the risks to keep the nuclear program alive? Chapter 4: The Wildest Proposals, Panama and Alaska. The ambitions didn't stop in the desert. The AEC had a list of targets. The most famous was Project Chariot. They wanted to create a deep-water harbor in Ogottara Creek, Alaska. They planned to detonate 5 nuclear devices to blow a hole in the coastline. The problem? It was right next to the village of Point Hope, home to the Inupiat people. The scientists told the locals the radiation would be gone in days. They lied. They planned to use the area as a laboratory to see how radiation moved through the Arctic food chain, from lichens to caribou to humans. Then there was the Panama Canal. The Panama Canal was too small for modern tankers. The solution? Plan C. Use 300 nuclear explosions to blast a new canal through the Darien Gap. Imagine the sheer scale of the fallout that would have covered Central America. It would have been an ecological catastrophe beyond comprehension. Chapter 5: The Turning Point and the End. By the late 1960s, the public began to wake up. The environmental movement was born. People started asking, why is there strontium-90 in our children's teeth? The peaceful nuclear explosion dream started to crumble. The costs were astronomical, the legal hurdles were endless, and the clean bombs were never truly clean. In 1977, after 27 tests and hundreds of millions of dollars, Operation Plowshare was quietly defunded. The program left us with more than just craters. It left us with a warning. It showed us that "can we do it?" is a very different question from "should we do it?" We learned that you cannot tame the atom for construction without paying a price in biological health and environmental stability. Chapter 6: The Modern Reflection. Today, the craters of Operation Plowshare are tourist attractions for those who can get clearance to enter the Nevada test site. They stand as monuments to a specific type of mid-century madness. We look back at these plans, using nukes to find natural gas, to build roads, to move mountains, and we shudder. But are we any different today? As we discuss geoengineering to fix climate change or colonizing Mars with nuclear propulsion, are we repeating the same hubris? Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the atomic past. This has been Synapse Daily. We hope this story makes you look at the ground beneath your feet a little differently.